Welcome all to Good Morning Grenada for today. Hope all is well. Hope you had a good night and that you're up and ready for the challenges of this day. Mary Ebanks, good morning to you. Walland Ekwat says, good morning, Mr. Joseph. Happy New Year. Be safe. I will. Jelly and McIntyre, good morning, Mr. Joseph and the GBN. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Eulin Alexander, good morning, Gordon. Good morning to everyone. Blessings for a wonderful Tuesday. Have a great, safe day, everyone. Monica Mayrose Williams says, good morning, Mr. Joseph. How do you do? I'm doing fine. Sharon Bartholomew, good morning, everyone, all the way from Northern Virginia. Happy Tuesday. Same to you, Sharon. Yoland Swan, good morning. Blessings to Grenada Carrier Crew and PD Martinique. A pleasant good morning to you, Mr. Joseph. I hope all is well with everyone. Yoland, I am fine. And all the best goes out to you and yours. Sylvina Charles says, good morning. Mary Banks and Yulin Alexander. Jennifer Lawrence just chipped in and said, good morning, innocent viewers and listeners. Kyron Coppin, good morning. And Jean Copping from USA, happy day. Cheryl Silly, morning blessings to everyone. Have a wonderful day. Sweetie Williams, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sweetie. I like that name. Yvonne Alexander, good morning from St. Martin. Wow. Let me sing for you. Sandra Fraser says, good morning. Sylvina Charles, blessed day to you, innocent, and everyone tuned in at this time. Margaret Alexander, good morning, Mr. Joseph. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. Naomi Joseph, good morning, Grenada. Have a blessed day, everyone. Wow. I walk with Jesus. Sing for you, sing for you, sing for you. I rock with Jesus. Sing for you, sing for you. Good morning to you, Earl, and all the way in the US of A. She says, good morning, Mr. Joseph. Good morning, everyone. Delacia Daisy Bob, good morning. Good morning, Delacia. Delicia, rather. Lovely, lovely. Just gotta greet everyone this morning. Hope everyone is okay. And if you're not, you're still not doing too bad. Yeah? Okay. I come with Jesus. Sing for you, sing for you. Want to sing for you. Nice. I walk with Jesus. Sing for you, sing for you, sing for you. So Clyde Belfan has transitioned. Oh my God. You know, that one touched me. Yesterday morning when I got the message, I pretended I didn't see it, you know, because I saw Clyde in St. George's sometime week before, last week, just before the Christmas or after the Christmas, walking in his own pace as usual. He says, Gordon, of this thing called life, here today and tomorrow you're gone like a candle in the wind. It's important to live good, treat people right, don't abuse people, don't abuse your power, don't overuse your power, because you too can wake up dead in the morning. Yeah. Alright folks, the word of the day today, it is an adjective, it's a describing word, and that word is ominous. Ominous. O-M-I-N-O-U-S. Ominous. What ominous means? Now, something described as ominous hints or suggests that something bad is coming or is going to happen. Wow, that's a strong word, boy. Hey, ominous. Yeah. All right. I'm interested to see how we can use that in a sentence, you know. So remember that the word of the day is the word ominous. Something described as ominous hints or suggests that something bad is coming or is going to happen. It's 22 minutes on to 7 o'clock. What up? Good morning to What Up and the passengers on HD 390. The driver too. Good morning. The driver of 7489. Good morning. How are you doing? Tayo, good morning to you. All right, here's how we can use the word ominous. It says, our fears about the picnic being cancelled were heightened by the sight of dark, ominous clouds appearing over the horizon. Let me reiterate this. Our fears about the picnic being cancelled were heightened by the sight of dark, ominous clouds appearing over the horizon. Nice. Write it down, jot it down, learn to spell it, learn to pronounce it. Most importantly, learn how to use it interchangeably in your writing and in your speech. Good morning, my friend Festus. I haven't heard you yet for the new year. Happy New Year to you, man. Yep. It's 21 minutes on to the hour of 7 o'clock, and it's time for the thought of the day. Good morning to you, Nadisha. Yeah, good morning to you, Debbie. Good morning to you, Dixian. Good morning, Kitty Cat and Alwyn. And good morning, Nakita and Ryan and the Sandersons. Good morning to the folks inside of Cafe. Miss Holmes and family, Louie and family, all the wonderful folks. I haven't seen Papa Jerry in a while. If you haven't seen him, check inside the house, eh? Alright. Papa Jerry Batiste. Good morning, bro. So it's time for the thought of the day, and it says, difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. Don't quit. Quitters never win, winners never quit. Difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. Don't quit. And I can make an analogy. If you listen to some of the, the folks who were married for a lot of years, celebrating their 35th and 40th anniversary, if you listen to the story, you would hear the guy telling you how far he had to walk and the things he had to go through to get through to that lady. It was tough, it was difficult. But they're happily married 40 years after. Difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. Don't quit. It's difficult staying up at nights to study. Yeah, But at the end of it all, your career is alive. Difficult, but rewarding. Yep. Morning to my partner, Cruz. Yeah, what's up, boy? See, I had to come and sit down by you on the program one morning, let's just talk. Well, Cruz, the invitation is open, all right? Peck and family, good morning. Yep, the folks in Apretut Soup, good morning. What's up, bro? Dancer boy. Dancer man, good morning. Happy New Year to you, bro. Downtown St. George's, good morning. The folks inside of Woburn, Woodlands, and surrounding areas. Manjaloo, Marion. Yep. So buzzing this morning. Well, as a matter of fact, this morning I do have a guest, and we'll be talking Grenada history. He's a local author, and we'll be looking at a book that he's about to launch. So I'll be talking with him. Having said that, good morning to Velbert Brave Boy out there in Birch Grove. All right, another walking library, loaded with Grenadian history. Have to have a conversation, man. I might bring him on one of these mornings to, chit-chat a bit. Nice. So folks are still concerned about the gunshots that rang out on the Carnage on Saturday night. Folks are still feeling uneasy. The mere fact that, so many people have illegal firearms and openly brandishing it, that's scary, Right. How the weather has affected farmers. Yeah, that's another issue too. We'll hear in the news that we'll have some kind of weather for the early part of the year is going to be relatively cool, but then we're going to have some really real drought spells, Yeah, is this Mr. Belfront from Victoria that died? Well, he's not really from Victoria. He's originally from Shantimel area. He resided in Springs. Razum Batista and family, good morning, bro. How you doing? You have to check on the air condition for me, alright? Yep. Sylvina Child says, we'll miss Mr. Belfont's stylish voice. Yeah. Hey, Gordon. I remember as a young teacher, man, Mr. Belfont taught us in NISTEP at that time. Young teachers who, just came from school and went into the classroom to teach. They had this program called NISTEP, And Clyde was one of our English tutors. Yeah. And he was stylish from then, I'm talking 1990, 89, 90. Yeah. Derisa, good morning. Jahim and Karim, good morning. And the entire household, the family circle, good morning to each and every one. The two little girls, understand there's another little one with it. Good morning. Yep, folks. So this is where we've got to take that break. We've got the AM edition of News, Sports, and the Weather forthcoming. Stay with us. Those of you who are on the television platform, we've got a rebroadcast of last evening's television news. Stick and stay with us. We're with you anywhere and everywhere. See you on the flip side of 7.
I want to tell you something amazing.
I am Nexa. And when I say Nexa, I mean more than just another financial institution. We're a family. We're a community.
A community that listens and values your voice in every decision we make.
Big financial decisions can be daunting, but Nexa is a strong support system here to guide you every step of the way.
Nexa believes in empowerment, but you are never alone. We're with you wherever your road leads.
Whether it's owning my first home, educating my kids, or starting a business, Nexa is where I am following my dreams.
And here's the exciting part. You can be part of this incredible journey too. Just join today.
I am Nexa, and
you can be too.
We're making it even better to be a Nexa member. Ask a friend who's already a member to refer you. Our members refer someone, and both of you can enjoy special rewards. It's a win-win. Call us at 440-1354. Visit us on our social media or our website for how to join.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Good evening. This is GBN's News at 7. Police have confirmed reports of gunshots being fired near to the area on the Carnage known as the Ghetto, and evidence has been retrieved. Christina John has this report.
Spent shells were retrieved, as well as other bits of evidence in the area known as the Ghetto, following an operation mounted by officers of the Royal Grenada Police Force Sunday morning. The evidence recovered supported reports of gunshots being heard in the vicinity late Saturday. However, according to head of the Community Relations Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, Assistant Superintendent of Police Simon Douglas, no arrests have been made. It is alleged that approximately 26 gunshots were heard within the space of 1.5 hours on Saturday night. This left some residents in nearby communities traumatized and calling for police intervention. GBN understands that senior police officers met Monday morning and planned the next course of action. The Prime Minister and Minister for National Security, Dickon Mitchell, recently spoke out on firearms and his intended approach, noting that there is a direct correlation between the amount of firearms in a community and the amount of gun violence.
But the idea that we should be walking around with firearms, in my view, is inimical to our culture, to our way of life, and for good measure. The last time we had a lot of firearms in Grenada, you all know what happened on the 19th of October, 1983. So I don't think we need another clear example why we should leave firearms for police officers only, and in my view, the security apparatus, unless you can demonstrate an exceptional need to have.
With the intent being to curb the circulation of illegal firearms, a National Security Advisory Council has been put in place. The Prime Minister also addressed the amendment of legislation to apply more stringent penalties for gun-related violations.
And the Cabinet intends to pilot legislation in Parliament to amend the Firearms Act to introduce far more significant penalties for persons found in unlawful possession of firearms. Our view that the possession of unlawful firearms, the use of unlawful firearms, the trading in unlawful firearms will not be something that we will tolerate or countenance.
Christina John, GBN News.
Autopsy results are still pending as to the actual cause of death of Kurt Fraser of Rose Hill St. Patrick. Here we have another report from Christina John.
Speculations flooded the lips of many on the possible cause of death of 45-year-old Curtis Fraser, who died on January 2nd. Fraser's unresponsive body was discovered by officers of the Royal Grenada Police Force in an area known as Old Road in Marigot, St. John. According to police report, around 11 a.m., officers attached to the Western Division responded to a report of an incident at Marigot, St. John, in which a female was allegedly stabbed. On arrival, they observed a man lying unresponsive on the ground. No obvious mark of injury was seen on his body, and he was later pronounced dead by a medical doctor. Autopsy results are still pending as to the actual cause of death of Fraser. GBN sought an update from the Royal Grenada Police Force. However, we were told that the results are not yet available. The female in question received medical attention at the General Hospital and was released. Fraser was a resident of Rose Hill in St. Patrick. Police are continuing with their investigation. Christina John, GBN News.
Canadians traveling to the United Kingdom are being advised of a new entry requirement. Canadians visiting the UK for less than 6 months are still eligible for visa-free access. However, as of this year, they're required to apply for an electronic travel authorization document, or ETA, before entering the country. According to the UK government's official website, persons holding Grenadian passports must apply for the ETA. The program, introduced by the British government, serves as a digital permit to enter the UK and replaces the current visa waiver scheme. Canadian citizens who want to live permanently in the UK, work there, or spend more than 6 months will need to apply for a visa. The non-refundable ETA application fee is £10 attached and is valid for 2 years or until the holder's passport expires. It must be paid online and in full before the application can be processed. Once an applicant has completed the form in its entirety and paid the fee, the processing will begin. An ETA application will take a maximum of 3 working days before being approved or denied. As of the 1st of February 2024, the scheme will be introduced for nationals of Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. By the end of the year, the scheme will be implemented worldwide for visitors to the UK who do not currently need a visa for short stays, and that includes Canadian nationals. A veteran Calypsonian is in a jubilant mood as he prepares for competition in the National Independence Calypso Competition. For him, it's the first time in the local independence competition, although he's competed on the national stage for Carnival on many occasions. Selena John will tell us more.
Calypsonians are promising a spectacular performance as part of the build-up to Grenada's Golden Jubilee on February 7th. Veteran Calypsonian Randy Isaac is among artists in preparation mode for the country's independence Calypso competition. His rendition, Land of My Birth, has already been released on social media. Isaac has won the independence competitions on 3 occasions in New York, but will be participating in the local competition for the first time. He said his song pays tribute to those who laid the foundation.
And there is people who make valid contributions, like, Eric Matthew Gary, he's the father, he's the godfather, he got us, in 1974, he fought for our independence, and there's many prime ministers and artists and fishermen, farmers, everybody made their contribution. So this song basically saying that let's celebrate all these people who got us here, and I want the people to be mindful that the journey is not over. Let's continue, but let us continue together, because some of the people who paved the way and they have passed on, but we have to continue the journey.
For him, performing on the 50th anniversary of independence in the land of his birth is a big deal, and he's eagerly anticipating the competition.
The name of the song is Land of My Birth, and it basically gives you a history lesson that the people that make this happen, we didn't just get independence and we didn't make it to 50 years easy. It was a journey, it was a rough and a rugged journey. We went through hell and back, so to speak, and is a song, opening people's eyes and let them know that things doesn't come easy. So now that we make it to our 50-year anniversary, we have to celebrate.
Here's a taste of what to expect on the night of the first leg of the competition, which is the semi-final round, carded for January 21st.
Islanders, you celebrate 50. Some call you a little baby, yeah. Others say your journey come lately. But they don't know about your history. All the things you have been through was too much for you, but you had resilience to stand them. Revolution, intervention, and coup. Yet you produce such beautiful children. This is the land. We have famous people like Junior Murray. This is the land. Anderson Peters and Champion Kirani. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50. It would be great. Land of my birth.
Christina John, GBN News.
Welcome back. Students of the Happy Hills Secondary School received some much-needed furniture donated to their school by the U.S. government. More in this report.
20 newly constructed tables and chairs were donated to the students of the Happy Hill Secondary School on Monday morning. The chairs, which will be utilized by students in Forms 2 and 3, were donated by the U.S. Embassy in Grenada in fulfillment of a promise made in 2023. Frances Herrera is Principal Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Grenada.
Today we especially thank the staff and the inmates at Her Majesty's Prison for their beautiful craftsmanship of the desks and chairs that will assist the students of the Happy Hill Secondary School in their educational journey. Thank you to the school's principal, Ms. Narisa James, and staff for the patience you have exercised since the promise of this donation was declared in 2023. This is an extension of the continuing promise ship visit to Grenada from September 12th to 22nd on 2023.
Principal of the Happy Hill Secondary School, Narisa James, said the U.S. donation complements furniture received from the government in September last year. However, she noted that the school is still in need of more.
However, when we decided to release source furniture, we were told that the cost of one table is approximately $300, and the chair is $150. So we're talking on average of around $450 EC dollars for a set. It is expensive. As students, I want you to understand, and appreciate the resources that were put into what's ensuring that you have furniture. And in a school where we cater to just under 500 students, our needs are many. But the little help that we get is deeply appreciated.
Kaden Andrew, a student of the Happy Hill Secondary School, expressed sincere thanks to the U.S. government for the contribution.
Today I stand to convey the sentiments of my fellow schoolmates as we express our heartfelt appreciation to the U.S. Embassy in Grenada for the opportune donation of furniture to our beloved institution. We do so with the pledge to ensure that proper care is taken of the furniture, and we do so with the immense admiration and respect for the hands that carved this furniture for our use today. On the behalf of all the students of this noble institution, I say thank you.
Renapa Thomas, GBN News.
As the region gears up for the dry season, which in the past began on December the 1st, some farmers are facing an unexpected delay to the season, which can impact their planting schedules. Climate change is being recognized as a key factor causing a change in traditional weather patterns. Former disaster coordinator at the National Disaster Management Agency, Sylvan McIntyre, delved deeper, highlighting that lingering moisture in the region slowed down the onset of the season.
Follow us closely in terms of what we were saying, like we were getting the heat and so forth. We did say to the latter part, October, November, December, that traditionally this has been a new trend. With climate change, etc. We've been seeing that pattern within the last decade or so, where the lower part of the year we've been having some insistent rain. We had torrential to an extent, and they've led to landslides and flooding in lots of areas. Not necessarily a late start. I think the prediction from the CIMH, the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology, they did indicate that there would be some above average in terms of the amount of moisture and likely intrusion of rain and cloud system that we're likely to have in between.
McIntyre pointed to the lack of availability of some commonly used foods during the Yuletide season, which he linked back to the delayed change in weather.
We did have a shortage of sorrel for Christmas. The amount we did not get, and I think the rain did have something to do with that. Also the green peas. So that did affect, we are going to have some more green peas, but it's going to be late. And that's as a result of the weather.
He urged farmers and people in general in the region to adjust to the new normal brought about by climate change.
It's the new normal, and as the experts have been saying, we have to learn to adapt to climate change. It will impact us, but we have to recognize that our actions could either exacerbate the situation or we can improve it by our own actions.
U.S. citizens on the Sister Isle will have an opportunity to renew their U.S. passports and report births abroad right at their doorstep in the next 2 weeks. More in this report.
A U.S. consular officer will visit Carriacou on Wednesday, January 24th and Thursday, January 25th, 2024 to provide limited U.S. citizen services and accept applications for U.S. passports and consular reports of birth abroad of all U.S. citizens on Carriacou and the PT Martinique. Principal Officer in Grenada, Frances Herrera, said this is intended to help their citizens avoid the hassle of traveling to the mainland to access these services. She said these services will be provided at a hotel in Carriacou on the stipulated days.
And it's to reach the American citizens that need to have passport renewals and if they want to transfer citizenship to their hopefully U.S. citizen children. And this is because we found during my outreach last year that unfortunately it is difficult still for some of the American citizens to get the services, to get the travel, to come over. And so we were asked if we could do more outreach to the islands, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. It will be held at the Mermaid Hotel Conference Rooms. That's in Hillsborough on the 24th and 25th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Handwritten passport application forms will no longer be accepted, as all passport application forms must be completed online and then printed. Applicants will also be required to pay all fees by internet international money order or bank draft made out to the U.S. Department of State, cash or credit card will not be accepted. The principal outlined other documents that will be needed for the process.
But it's a completed passport application, 2 passport-sized photos, 2x2, a proof of your U.S. citizenship, such as the previous U.S. passport, U.S. birth certificate, the consular report of birth abroad, or a naturalization certificate, and also a social security card or number needs to be available as well. Bring your originals and photocopies of all documents, including a copy of the passport you are renewing. Just a note for children that are under 16, if both parents are listed on their birth certificate, both parents need to be present, or the person that is not present needs to have a notarized DS3053, and that's found on the State Department website.
Mrs. Herrera encouraged all U.S. citizens to take advantage of the opportunity of the services that will be offered.
We want to encourage them to come out. We know how much time and effort it takes for them to travel over here to have these services provided. So I would like to really encourage anyone to come out. Unfortunately, those are the only hours we can do it, just due to the processing that needs to take place. And hopefully the numbers that we see, we want to see a good turnout. I want to be able to see them, and we will be returning once again this year, but it'll be more towards the end of the year, October, November time.
The team coming to the Sister Isles is in no way involved in the visa application process and will not be able to discuss visa cases during this outreach trip. Persons with visa issues or applications are asked to bring them to the attention of the U.S. Embassy office in Bridgetown, Barbados. Rena P. Thomas, GBN News.
As Grenada moves closer to celebrating its 50th anniversary, citizens are finding creative ways to mark the occasion. Tonight's eyesore is nature's unique creation.
A good eye catches all. GBN Eyesore is brought to you by Clearvision.
Our citizen journalist submitted this photograph of a red, green, and yellow covered seasoning pepper. The photo was accompanied by this note, quote, "With the advent of our 50th anniversary of independence celebrations, we see patriotism everywhere as we don streets and buildings with the national colors. But even nature is at attention at this special time, evident in this patriotic tricolor seasoning pepper, red, yellow, and green. These flavorful peppers are from the habanero pepper family, but without the heat," end quote. Our citizen journalist is urging all patriotic Grenadians to be sure to spice up their oil-down and local dishes with these peppers this independence season. Our eyesore line is open for your submissions via WhatsApp at 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
Grenada, as we celebrate 50 years of independence. I love my Grenada. Made in Grenada presents the celebration of 50 years of Calypso. Open me up into that night, honey. One stage. No, not so fast. One show. Grenada's best Calypsonians performing Grenada's greatest hits. Sunday, February 11th, 2024 at 6 p.m. sharp. Grenada National Stadium. More information coming soon.
When the DJ play Peter Humphrey, she raise her hand and she tell me, make it all play sweeter than home.
Calling all songbirds and lyrical legends, the Independence Calypso Monarch is here. And this time, we're doing it bigger than ever as we celebrate Grenada's 50th. Over $50,000 in prize money to be won. Show your patriotism, devotion, and love for your country with your original piece under the theme, One People, One Journey, One Future. Don't wait. Submit your song by January 4, 2024 to the Ministry of Culture or email it to sco@culture.gov.gd. This is more than a competition. It's your chance to be part of Grenada's once-in-a-lifetime Jubilee celebrations. Grenada awaits the next Independence Calypso Monarch, and it could be you.
I'm addicted to Kaiso. I'm a VIP. I'm a VIP.
I am VIP. I am vaccinated.
I am immunized. I am protected. Our children and nation depend on vaccination for immunization. Childhood vaccination is national priority. It is their protection from disease and sicknesses. Let's all be VIPs and safeguard our beautiful Grenada. I am DJ Blackstorm and I am a VIP health champion. Be a VIP like me.
Let's all be VIP champions.
A message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. Be a VIP Childhood Vaccination and Immunization Campaign in collaboration with UNICEF and the Pan American Health Organization.
Switch to a Ready Cash loan today. Bring your loan to us and get 25% off. Get flexible payment terms, fast approval, and hassle-free service, so you can do all the important things you need with ease. All you need is your ID, proof of address, payslip, job letter, and 2 references. Visit us in-store or apply online at www.shopcourts.com. Courts Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply.
Yes, we have rebranded and we are now called Bee's Crispy Chicken, serving you with authentic, well-seasoned fried chicken using our own secret recipe. Unlike Tom Jones and Uncle Sam, we use a blend of local herbs and spices to give you, our valued customers, delicious fried and grilled chicken at affordable prices. Our menu includes chicken and chips, wraps, salads, hamburgers, chicken burgers, fried and grilled fish, your favorite ice cream flavors, and much, much more. You can find us at XL Plaza Grand Anse and our 2 express outlets at Granby Street, St. George's and Jubilee Street, St. Andrew. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Order online via Yogo or call 403-8003 to order in advance. Bee's Crispy Chicken. For us, by us.
welcome viewers and listeners. As I told you before, I told you earlier that I will have a guest this morning, and this morning I'm happy to have with me in the studio a very distinguished son of the soil who has traveled the world and back, and he's made home again. I don't know how long home will be home again for, because you know this level of individuals, they're always sought by international agencies and bodies and governments. But I'm sitting here with a son of Mount Morris, but now resides in some other part of St. George's. He's going to tell us where. Mr. John Angus Martin, good morning to you, sir, and Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you too, and thanks for having me.
The pleasure is always mine. When I heard the request, I said, oh, I need this guy on the program. Thanks, Joseph. All right, so folks, Mr. Martin is a renowned and I'm looking for the right words, you know. He's a writer, he's an author, and he has this book. As a matter of fact, it's the second edition of it, The A to Z of Grenada Heritage. It's new and revised. So having said that, it means that there was a first edition, but he went back, did some more research, did some editing, and presented that book again, and it will be launched tomorrow
at Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Houses of Parliament.
Wow. Okay. What a place to launch it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I want people to know, who is John Angus Martin? First and foremost.
Okay, I guess I was born and grew up in Grenada. I lived most of my life in Grenada in Williamson Road, just above Grenville Street. Went to Palmer School and went to Presentation Brothers College. Left and went off with my family to the US. Went to university and various things. Spent 3 years in Sierra Leone, West Africa as a Peace Corps volunteer. And did graduate school and things like that, but have been traveling the world. Have been fortunate enough to have experienced lots of different places, learned about different peoples and culture. But I guess I still keep coming back to Grenada.
Why?
I sometimes ask myself that question.
Is it because home is where the heart is?
Home is where the heart is. Actually, I just completed my PhD, and the dissertation is entitled "We Naval Stringberry Here: Landscape History, Representation, and Identities in Grenada," because I think that first 15 years of my life in Grenada has always brought me back to this very tiny place, despite being in lots of larger places. That this little place means quite a lot to me, and the work that I do, because I study Grenada and I experience Grenada over and over in the history and everything that I study and the culture. So Grenada has been part of my life, I guess, forever, and I want to learn more about it as much as I can and share that knowledge.
So what would you say was the main driving force for from an inspirational background to present this book?
Right. I think for me, I think going to America at 15, I felt I left something behind, and being in America, I wanted to capture what it was that I left behind. You know, I think we all at different stage in our lives go in search of who we are. I think I was doing genealogy, but in the process of doing genealogy, I couldn't find anything on Grenada. So that's when I decided maybe I need to write a history. And there was a similar book to this written on Barbados. And I thought I could do it in a year. Of course, I was pretty naive. I had never written a book before. And by the time I started researching and doing this, it was a decade. And compiling information, and the more information I compiled, the more information that seemed to open up, and there are more things to add. I remember when I finally had a manuscript ready, I sent it off to the same company, I think, that had published the Barbados one. And they said, this is interesting, this is cool, but could you cut it in half? So I spent another year cutting it in half, and I would say this edition is the book that I wanted to publish, because I went back and added all of the things that I had taken out, because I self-published this book, because I decided I don't need to publish with anyone, because I want to make the book as accessible as possible and to people, especially Grenadians, because I wrote it for Grenadians. I wrote it for myself as well, because I describe it as a book I wish I had when I grew up in Grenada. Because I think everybody growing up in a space should be aware of the things around them, and sometimes it's just the little things, the trees, where they come from, what role did they play in the history of the island. We might pass a sugarcane field and not recognize the history that field has gone through, the hundreds of years. And the people who have labored there, we pay little attention to that because we're so consumed with our phones. And I'm part of that too, So, an old windmill tunnel by the side of the road, windmill tower, where did that come from?
What's its significance?
Exactly. Yeah. So those are the things that I want people to ask questions of the place where you are, and how did that get there, and what does it mean to me, or should it mean anything to me? So these are the questions I think that have always consumed me, and I went about, chronicling them in this book.
So the information that are compiled there, where did you get them from?
That's an interesting. Going in search of Grenada history, I realized that a lot of it is not in Grenada.
The history of Grenada is not in Grenada.
No,
my goodness.
I think it's one of the things. I had a colleague that basically said Grenada has outsourced its preservation of its history and culture to others. So if you go to the British Archives, you go to the British Library, you go to the French Archives, you'll find Grenada's history. I've uncovered, and I say uncovered is just like I went there. It's not hidden. It's there for anybody to find. The first guy that came to Grenada and drew a map of Grenada. Back in 1666, he came here. The map was produced in 1667. It's in the French archives. You see all of these other documents. Fort George, which was Fort Royal, the first drawing of that from 1667. It's fascinating to see these things that few Grenadians have seen. The first settlement that was in the lagoon on a sandbar that no longer exists. The entrance to the lagoon was where the first settlement was. So we have all of the first market square was on the Carenage, not in the market square. So they over and over you see all these documents. That Leapers Hill is actually not in the spot where we say it is.
Wow.
Because we put the monument behind the Catholic Church, which is where the incident happened, but people don't know there were two Catholic churches in Sotes. And the first one was where the Anglican Church is, because the Anglicans took over a lot of the Catholic Church properties when the French and the British were fighting among themselves for dominance of the island, which led to Ferron's Rebellion and things like that. So there is this deep history. I think I think most of us get a superficial view of our history, and we don't get that deep history that really allows us to create our identities in this space that we call ours.
Now, I know you haven't even scratched the surface of the book as yet, but just those few lines that you've shared, they make me feel ignorant.
I think I felt that way in the beginning when I started learning about this stuff. Learning about all of these things that, we know. You open any history book and it says Grenada was settled in 1650 by the French. We actually have a document, a book that was written by a priest that was here in the 1650s. And we know now that it actually happened on March 18th in 1649, that somebody probably lied in order to occupy the island illegally, kind of thing. So, So there are lots of these different things, where the settlement was, what happened between the French and the indigenous, the Kalinago and the Kalina. There were two sets of indigenous people on the island, not one. Most people know about the Caribs, but we know that there were another group called the Kalina, who was a more recent migration from South America. So all of that, and we know places where they were living, like Galbi Bay is Galibis, which is after the Kalina, so all of these things we know much more, but a lot of it is not taught in school. It never even enters the public sphere when we talk about Grenadian history.
I'm glad you touched on that point, because we have a local author who produced a history book, Grenada History, that is now introduced into our primary schools, right. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, the primary schools, Dr. Dow.
Dr. Dow, Dr. Philip Dow.
Yes. And I was elated when I got this, because I have been advocating for years that we need to get rid of this Christopher Columbus, and the Jamaicans would say Christopher Columbus, and get rid of this. We have enough rich history of Grenada by itself that we need to teach our children.
Right, and our history goes beyond Columbus.
Way beyond.
We have indigenous people. We know we have evidence of indigenous people being on the island 300 AD. Up in Bouchejou, that's where the earliest evidence for indigenous people on the island. There could be earlier, but that's the one that we have concrete evidence for. And we don't teach that history, that we've had people that were on this island for over 1,000 years before Europeans showed up. And some of that has impacted, some of that culture has impacted. We celebrate our jab soca, blowing the lambi shell, that's an indigenous thing,
right?
So all of these things we need to know how that contribute to our history. How do we? It's almost like I guess they say that ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, it's folly to be wise.
Yes. So, but I think that for me, knowing all of this and knowing Grenada's history is something that I really enjoy and I'm passionate about, and sharing it with people.
The mere fact that your book is being launched in the Houses of Parliament, it shows that you have some weight, right?
Well,
hold on, let me finish first, and then right, it shows that you have some weight. Are you intent on using whatsoever weight you have to influence the powers that be to get more of this sort of things into our education system, revolutionize the curriculum and so forth?
Right.
You think think we need that?
I'm definitely hoping that that's the road that we're on. I think the current government has been a bit open with the publication of Dr. Philip Dow's book for that is now mandatory in Form 1 and Form 2. Everybody has to do history, and I think there is an emphasis to spread that out, that more, we need to bring it to the primary level as well. How we teach not just about when independence come around, we teach about the flag and the anthem and things like that, but we need to go deeper. We need to... But there are lots of things that are needed for that. We need an archives. We need a national archives.
But then, could you imagine us trying to create an archive now and having to go and ask libraries and archives in France and England to give us back? Or that's
well, actually,
ridiculous.
That's the beauty of technology now. Nobody has to give back anything.
Yeah.
They just scan the stuff and have access to it. And I think when we talk about reparations, that is one of the things that we should put forward. That it's not just, it's about knowledge. It's about knowledge about ourselves, knowledge about our landscape, And I think a lot of these places are actually open to these kind of interactions that, the British Library and British archives, they are open to giving us access to all of these documents. Right now, I have to pay for them when I go as an individual. That, like anybody else, I go to these archives and I want documents, I have to pay to have them scanned, or I go take pictures of them. You're free to do that. But if you want a good scan of an old map, you will have to pay X amount of pounds for that. And I think that, to me, is what we need to work at. These are our documents. These are documents that chronicle our history and our culture.
And we are nothing without that.
No, we cannot build a future if we cannot tell what the past is. What's the foundation of this little Grenada? How do we move forward? What's the next 50 years for us? I think you were talking about what clout I may have. The fact that
the fact that
the 50th Anniversary of Independence Committee is co-sponsoring this.
That speaks volumes.
Yes, it is part of that larger thing of bringing Grenada to Grenadians.
Right.
So.
You've been back here for a while, living here. I mean, I know you would travel off and on, but you're based here. In your interacting with the populace, can you see that yearning, that passion for, from the people that they need this?
Right.
You think so?
Yes. I think I just finished teaching a class at TAMCC, and in the beginning there was this blank. But I think once you start, how could you want something when you don't know what it is that's out there? Yeah. So I think once you whet people's appetite and you start putting things out there, and people, these are everyday things, you just tell them about a tree out there and said, do you know where this tree is from? Do you know the journey that tree had to get here? Once you start telling people these kind of things, I think then people realize the extent of the stuff. I had them do a genealogy project, just explore, go out, talk to their grandmother, try to talk and see what they know about the family history, because most of us know about our parents and grandparents. We rarely can go beyond that. And what is the story that they can tell? And I think once people start doing that kind of stuff, they get really interested in the past. I think it's hard for young people, especially, to start looking at the past. They're only looking at the future and themselves. But later on, they will want to. They will want to explore that past, and those people may not be around. So that's the thing. I think we need to expose people to this, and it may not sink in at the moment, but a few years from now, they will start, when they start having children.
Yeah, and the children start asking questions.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think we need to provide the foundation, the basis, so that people can build upon when they are ready to explore this history and culture and make these things available, make books available, a library. We do not have a national library. We do not have a place where you could walk in and say, how do I find a book on Grenada? If it's not available in a bookstore, we're lost, or on the internet. People tend to think that the internet can replace libraries and stuff, and that's ridiculous. Because the internet provides X amount of information, and there's nobody, in many cases, really overseeing that information, so you can get lots of incorrect information on the internet. And if you cannot discriminate where that information is coming from, you will be repeating all of the negative or bad data.
Okay. Do you see yourself making yourself available to maybe go on a tour across the nation's schools to sensitize, heighten their passion for wanting to know more of this, and maybe the students with that awareness sensitized can start making calls on the administration, the schools administration, who in turn will call on the ministry and say, listen, we need this.
Right. Well, as part of the 50th anniversary, there are a few projects by subcommittees of the Independence Committee that are going to go to the schools and do different aspects of history and talk like that. But that is just for this period, and we hope things like that can continue, but we need more of that. We need to create history clubs. In schools we have scouts and things like that. Why not a history club? Why not people have a space where they can explore their own history? What's about culture clubs? Having people, we talk about traditional masquerades and things like that. What's the origin of these? How do they impact us? We talk about spice mass. Where did that stuff come from? Where does the creativity come from? Because it is in our past that we pull creativity from. We pull the things, because people have always been creative along the landscape, that historical landscape. And you have the people that are making masquerades today. Look at Veco is one of the good examples I look at. That is an interesting one because there's so many young people involved in it. People have not noticed that a lot of the masquerades are created by young people because they feel very creative in the costumes they make, in the helmets and things like that they come out with. And I think these are the things that we need to promote.
But where did that creativity juice come from?
Well, I think it's happened. Veco is an interesting masquerade. I think, and many of the traditional masquerades are like that. But I think they found an avenue. That's the thing. They found an avenue within their community to explore that, and it allowed them to explore that. And I think we need to create those all over. And part of it is exploring that history. You know, what does VECO mean? Where did it come from? Who were the people who started it? And there's a docu-series that has just started, put out by Spice Mars and GTA, I think. And that is going to be exploring some of that history and culture. But I think we need to do that on a larger basis. You know, we need to know, where do I go if I want to find out who my grandmother or great-grandmother was or my great-grandfather? Where do I go to find that information? You know.
The question is, do we have that information?
Actually, we do, kind of. We got some. But it's easier for me to do that in the US or the UK than in Grenada.
And that's sad.
Oh, it's sad. It's humiliating.
Yeah, it's sad.
That we have to go somewhere else.
To learn about us.
Yes.
Yeah, it's sad. But it's better to start now than never start at all.
Of course. And for me, doing this, I have to do this.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a passion of mine. I give this little anecdote. When I graduated high school in the US, my brother's like, yay, my eldest brother. He says he doesn't remember this. But he said, yay, so what you want to study? I said, history. He said, do you want to eat? I said, yes. He said, pick something else. Luckily for me, the things I've picked have all contributed to this, and it's brought me back to this, because I could never have written these books if I wasn't following my passion.
Okay.
And my passion was for history. It was for Grenadian history.
Okay.
That is what I have a deep passion for. Luckily for me, I was able to go and live in West Africa, so I was able to make some of these connections between West Africa and the Caribbean.
Okay.
One of the things, we worked on a book back in 2016 on the connections between Sierra Leone and Carriacou. And there's a connection. There is a deep connection. In the Big Drum Dance, there's a group called, one of the nations is the Timni Nation. And the Timni Nation came from Sierra Leone. And we were able to make that connection between Sierra Leone, the slave island, Bunce Island, which is where the slaves were kept before they were taken to the Caribbean and North America and stuff like that, and the Scots, who owned plantations in Carriacou. Grand Bay was one of the specific ones. That was the owner of Grand Bay was also the part owner of the Bunce Island Scots. They were Scots. You know, so there are lots of these things, I think, that really, you know, we could do this for Ghana as well. You know, the connection between Ghana and Grenada, the Cro-Manti Nation in the Big Drum Dance. That if we can explore that, you know, we could make these connections. And it's not too many places that can make these direct connections today. We know, of course, that the connections between West Africa and the Caribbean because of the slave trade and slavery.
Yes.
But making a direct connection because of a group of people in the Caribbean that still celebrates some aspect of African memories and things like that, it really brings alive, you know, that experience and can tell it in a more personal way as opposed to just a general way of how many numbers of people were brought from one place to the next.
Okay. All right. Tell you what, folks, I am speaking with Mr. John Angus Martin. He is a local author, and he is publishing launching his new book tomorrow at the Houses of Parliament. It is called The A to Z of Grenada Heritage, and it's a must get. Folks, we take a commercial break. When we come back, I have a brief little chit chat with the gentleman and we do the wrap. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be back after these messages.
Vaccines protect you and they protect me. Getting vaccinated is one of the most important things you can do to keep yourself and your family safe and healthy. Once enough people are immunized, opportunities for an outbreak of disease becomes very low. And if we all choose to get vaccinated, we contribute in getting back to spending quality time with our loved ones in a safe way. Choose to get vaccinated. Vaccines bring us closer.
Welcome back, viewers and listeners. The conversation, speaking with Mr. John Angus Martin, a local author. A to Z of Grenada Heritage. That's the name of the book. It's being launched tomorrow at the Houses of Parliament. Mr. Martin, give us some final details as to the launch, what we can expect, and the time and so forth.
Right. The launch is going to be at the Houses of Parliament. It begins at 6 p.m. There are going to be a little invited guests. We'll be doing several little presentations. We hope to keep the talking to a minimum, but have interactions. We're going to have a book signing as well. Also, I'm going to be giving out copies to the photographers. A lot of photographers allowed me to use their images free of charge, so I'm going to be giving them a copy of the book, and we're going to be giving out copies to some of the people that were invited as well.
Okay.
We're going to have students talking about the book and the importance it has been for them. So.
All right. Well, folks, you heard it. It's happening at the Houses of Parliament tomorrow from 6
p.m.
6 p.m.
Yes.
And go on out there. This is a must get. All right. You're a parent. You're a student. And as we were talking behind the scenes, not having the money to buy the book is not an excuse. This is a must get, because there are some things that maybe you don't have the money for, but you need it so badly that you'll find a way to get it. Get this book. I urge you, I implore you, get this book. It is a must get. Mr. Martin, I'd like to thank you for dropping by this morning, and I can guarantee you that in the not too distant future, I'm going to have you all by myself for 1 full hour, where we can delve into some of the areas covered, some of the more interesting areas in the book that in itself would stimulate the listening and viewing audience to want to get this book. And I know for you, it's not about making the money from the book. Of course not. You're a wealthy man. All right?
Wealthy in different ways.
Yeah, of course. You're a wealthy man. So I do know that. So we're going to get another engagement with you I wish we can do it before Independence, because that's the significant time.
Right.
So we're going to have a conversation subsequently and take it from there. But thank you for dropping by. I am very happy that we made that connection, and I know Grenada will embrace the idea and move forward. And the powers that be, it's time to start working on that archive and that National Library.
I agree, and thank you very much for having me.
The pleasure is all mine.
Thanks.
All right, Mount Morris, this is your son. Grenada, this is your baby. Folks, we take another commercial break. When we come back, I have another guest on the program. We'll be back after these.
Sound that's everlasting.
Good morning. Welcome back. I'm joined by another goodly gentleman, my good friend, Mr. Junior Ride Along George. How you doing, bro?
Officially.
Oh, yeah.
The Junior Ride Along George.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it works. It works for me.
Yeah, because we're talking not just ride along, but we're riding this morning.
Yeah.
Junior is here to launch a new service to Grenada.
Yeah.
It is called Ride
E-bike excursions and tours.
Right, good, lovely.
Yeah.
Tell us about this. I remember during the carnival thing when we had this thing on the Esplanade Mall, you were riding this powered bike. And So
that was a test phase.
Okay.
So, Ride is a project I've been working on for the better part of 2.5 years.
Okay.
I've traveled to every major city and purposefully, I went there to see the experience, because Ride is something I had in mind for probably 20 years.
Okay.
It's just something that I've been working on. Even before Ride Along, I had Ride, the idea.
So you just like this Ride thing?
Yeah, well, I guess. I don't know how, but it just was stuck in my brain.
Okay.
Right? So I've traveled to all major cities to see the experience of bike sharing and excursions, and I think that my experience of traveling there and finding out and seeking and seeing how it works is to the benefit of this particular project, because now I can implement everything that I've learned in every one of these areas and perfect it here.
Okay.
So essentially, Ride excursions and tours is a e-bike rental service and excursion on the island. Not specifically only for tourists. It's for Grenada and people who enjoy a nice excursion and also might get overwhelmed with the traffic and the congestion.
Right, yeah. That's the direction Grenada has to start going now.
Yeah, and we've seen it over time. So one of the things, if you go to England or any one of the major cities, you'll see that e-bikes are very, very popular. Right, in Manhattan, in Brooklyn, you go in London, Paris, anywhere you go, you'll see that. So I think it's necessary and needed here, and I think it's timely as well.
Okay. So you've got a company registered here?
Yeah, absolutely. That's partially one of the reasons why I was here 5 times in the past month.
You live here?
Well, yeah,
if you're here 5 times in the past month, you live here?
Let's put it like this: JetBlue loves me. Yeah, JetBlue loves me.
Okay.
So it is a process of setting an infrastructure foundation. Getting the business incorporated, going through the whole process, hiring. Going through a whole period of interviews, because I'm looking for the best customer service providers, training, and making sure that the foundation of the company is strong. We are in the process of hiring about 8 individuals that will be working with Ride, and the idea again, Joseph, is to bring. I call you Joseph.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, I call you Joseph. Joseph.
That's such a a contrast, man.
Yeah, it's such a contrast. Joseph is so miserable.
That too.
Yeah. Pardon me. I apologize.
Yeah, I hear him already, comrade. Comrade.
Yeah. So in the process of putting together this is hiring the best people.
And what would you be needing them for, really?
A number of things. So we have a kiosk in the Esplanade Mall, right? So where folks could just walk into the kiosk and 1, 2, 3 rent a bike.
Okay.
Pick up the bike right there from the Esplanade Mall and go ride, do what they need to do. Right, that's from the rental aspect of it. So we have staff that will be working in the mall. In addition, we have equipment managers, folks who will ensure that the bikes are clean and taken care of. Of course, we need tour guides, because every Sunday we are going to be doing what is called trails, and that's the most exciting part of it. I love that part, because we're going into the community, so it's promoting community tourism. The first one will be on the 21st of January. We're going into St. Mark, so we bus the riders into the parish where the bikes will be available, and we go through a certain trail, which I had the pleasure of going through every parish and learning so many different trails, parts of even St. Andrews, and I'm from there, that I never knew.
Okay.
So it gives folks an opportunity to really see Grenada inside, not just, and sad to say, and probably Minister Andy would be like, well, it's not just the South.
Yeah.
No,
there's more than the South.
Exactly. So it gives everyone an opportunity to see inside of Grenada, right? And that's the idea. So the first one would be in St. Mark, Victoria, and we'll really have a tour, like a hike and bike type of thing. We'll go to the chocolate factory, ride up. We end up by the river. Folks could take a dip in the river. We'll cook right next to the river there. The fish. Everything is just going to be like natural stuff, right? And that's the idea. Then we have St. Patrick. Of course, we have St. David. I was in St. David just 2 days ago.
Okay.
And we were able to set off some trails that we could.
Did you ride up Apretut and Mount Agnes and those areas?
Yeah, well, Apretut, I ain't discovered there yet. I ain't discovered inside there yet. But hence the reason why I'm here and I'm going through every trail, because I have to make sure that, of course, the ride experience is a good experience for the riders. So I have to experience it. So we are finding out and seeking out trails every day.
Okay.
So those are some other things, and then of course we have 8 people on staff that's going to be working hard to ensure that the experience is a wonderful one. Yeah, and of course, we this Saturday, and I want to invite you. I want to invite the folks that's listening as well. We have an official launch.
Okay.
A ribbon cutting type of event. It's going to be right at the courtyard of the Esplanade Mall.
Okay.
So, have a little tent set up there, and we'll have an official launch. Of course, it's going to be live stream. And folks will get an opportunity to learn a little bit more about the ride. Over the past couple of days, myself, I've been working closely with hotels. I've been meeting with a number of hotels because we want to provide that experience to their guests. So a guest could be like, okay, well, I want to have a short term. I wanna rent a bike to do my own little tour, off road type of thing. Because the bike is such that it is built for off road.
Okay.
Right. Or they may want to join us on our trail. So our participating hotel, once you in that area, you could just book your ride, and then you have a bike that would just come and meet you, come there for you. So it's a really nice, foundational start to
How many bikes will you be starting off with?
We're gonna have roughly 15 to 30 bikes. Okay. Right. Within that range, but we believe we've been getting so much. So much love from the business community. There are people who are approaching us in terms of investment. We believe that we have to grow, but we want to proportionate our growth and ensure that we are, we're doing it in a format. But ultimately, I believe, and my vision is to have bikes available in different parts of the country, where you could take a bike, you could really get a bike in the South and drive to Melville Street or wherever in center of town and dock it, right? And somebody else could, get a bike from there and go to Grenada's beach or wherever, and dock it. Right. So that ultimately the idea is to provide an eco-friendly process, eco-friendly environment, and also to release on the congestion that we're having. It is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not only in Grenada, I must say. Every developed city, if you go to Toronto, you'll see that is the same problem. So they're working on a number of different ways to mitigate against the congestion issue.
Okay.
For congestion pricing or bikes, you'll see them in every single one of those.
Yeah, you can
places.
see the e-bike industry is really developing now. And so what sort of rates how would it be done? I see here low hourly rental and tours.
Right.
What sort of rates we looking at?
Right. So we're looking at something like from 20 US per hour. But we have bulk if you're taking it for a day, of course it's proportionate, so you're not paying $20 an hour, 20 US per hour. But all the rates and information is on the website. But what is the most important thing also is the ease of how someone could access the bikes. Like you have this the flyer there. We also have these digital keychains.
Okay.
Right, these digital keychains, and all you do you scan it, and you basically take into a portal where you could just go ahead and rent. You could do it on your phone. You don't have to come into the kiosk. You don't have to come into our Melbourne, our Esplanade Mall location. You could just scan it, whether on this keychain or on every flyer. We have the QR codes.
Okay.
So the QR codes, I don't know if you guys, the camera is right there. Right. So the QR codes, you just scan it, and it takes you to a portal where you could just easily rent or book your excursions. And I was saying the bikes. If you see these flyers, guys, please pick it up. Don't throw it away, because you got savings with this in this flyer, and it also gives you all the information and access to how you could rent a bike or join us on any one of our excursion tours.
Okay.
Please.
And do you envisage Grenadians gravitating towards this?
I think they should. I mean, I really do, because again, people are in a very health conscious state. Right, people are conscious about their health, their everyday, their life, their family, and Grenadians, we love to move around, to get around. We're not. I don't think that like when I used to live in Grenada, we used to walk and go places. Now every time you need to go somewhere, you jump in a car. Yeah. So that kind of cuts down on the exposure to just being outdoors, and also the exercise that you would get, right? So I think that naturally we are that type of people already. So it's not like something new. But I think I'm not on any false illusion that tomorrow everybody's gonna be riding bikes. But
to be honest and fair, we're just about wrapping up. But to be honest and fair, I think when you look at the traffic congestion, especially in town,
yes,
people are getting fed up with it. I mean, sometimes you take 30-40 minutes to move from the tunnel to the stadium.
Absolutely.
And I personally think there are too many vehicles in Grenada.
Well, right, and that again is mitigating against that particular problem.
Yeah, so that's why I see this doing well.
Yeah.
And then again, on a Sunday, it could be a family fun event. You take the family on a ride.
Exactly. And of course, safety is our number one concern. So of course we have every ride. After you get a bike, you'll get one of those rider's helmets, and it's unique because you have your visor that you could put on or off. It protects your head, of course, and it protects your eye, because dust go in your eye, you fall. And so that is the number one priority. The other thing is, Innocent, we have a nurse that is coming down to Grenada. Right, and the specific reason for coming here is to train all of our staff on CPR and first aid. Right, so everyone in staff, even the folks who work in the mall, will be trained in CPR and first aid. Right, and we also while the nurses here, we were trying to even get more people certified, and that's a certification program that they will get, U.S. international certification, all our staff. But we also want to take it further, and we believe that more persons should take advantage of the opportunity to learn CPR. Of course, on the ride, things, cardiac situation may happen, so that's why it's needed by every tour guide. I think it's even a mandatory for all tour guide. But we want to take it a step further, because safety is our number one priority. So all the safety gears, all the gloves, the helmets, everything, it's a mandatory statute that everyone wear it when they're on our rides, and every single precautionary measure will be taken to ensure the safety of all of our patrons.
Finally, when do you expect this to be launched?
Well, this Saturday. This Saturday, we have an official launch. So we'll have, we have a few ministers come in and speak about how they perceive that this would be great for Grenada. And also, I'll be speaking a few individuals. We have some folks from the United States, again, the nurse, some of the hospitals, some of the staff that will be working, medical staff that will be speaking as well. It'll be a nice program. And we're inviting folks, if you want to just come and check it out. If you want to see the bikes, because the bikes will be there. You could come and you could, test it out and what have you, and be a part and sign up and be a part of this initiative. I've spent, I said again, the better part of my 2.5 years just putting this whole project together. So it's exciting for me to launch it here in Grenada and no place else.
Junior, I know for a fact that this is going to take off. All right, it's going to take off. I see the hotels taking advantage of this.
Absolutely.
Getting to know the inside out of Grenada, places that the taxis and the SUVs can't go, the bikes will go.
Yes.
So from GBN, we'd like to wish you all it's a team thing. So
yeah, man. Thank you so much, and I want to say thank you for accommodating me.
The pleasure is always mine.
And the folks, Janelle, and the folks here at GBN, always family.
Of course.
For many years.
We all are we one family.
One family.
Folks, I've been speaking with Junior George. Don't forget ride.e-bike. That's coming Saturday. It will be launched formally at the Esplanade Mall car park.
Not the car park, in the front courtyard.
The courtyard.
Yeah.
And just come out and hear what it's all about and be a part, take advantage. It's health conscious.
Yes.
It's traffic conscious. Eco-friendly.
Yeah.
So be a part of it. Folks, we've got to break the program. We've got to join the BBC. Thank you again, Junior.
No problem,
and
my friend.
all the best.
Yes.
Folks, that's it for the program this morning. I love you. Bye-bye.